Hi, boys and girls. We're doing our last lesson in Unit 2. It's called Finding the Pattern. And we're going to be working with number patterns, but also shape patterns in this lesson. So let's take a look at the math message. It says, each person in the United States uses about 50 gallons of water per day. Use this information to complete the What's My Rule table below. So I put in red the spaces that you need to put an answer for. We have for 2 days, 100 gallons, 6 days, question mark, 10 days, also an unknown, 30, and then 365. And the way that I'd like you to answer it today is actually in a Google slide. I'm going to be attaching this to the lesson, and I'd like you to fill this out right now. All right. And I want you to be completed with this before we continue and watch the rest of the video. All right. So pause, and I will see you on the other side. All right. So our rule was what? What was the multiplication rule that we were working with here? It was times 50, because when we were thinking about 50 gallons per day, every day is another 50 gallons. So 1 day 50, 2 days 100, and 6 days, I believe, was the next one, right? So 6 days is 6 times 50. So 6 times 50 is 300. And then 10 times 50. 10 times 5 is 50, right? So another 0 for that would be 500, right? 500 gallons in 10 days. Isn't that incredible? Just on a completely different note. So then 30 and 365. So are we seeing the pattern here, right? Every one that comes in, we multiply by 50 to come out, right? And I'm going to let you do the last two so I can check your work and see if you're doing it all on your own, right? So now what if we had a similar rule? Let's say we had, times, I don't know, 7. And we had some of the in column coming in, but we didn't have all of them. Some of them we actually knew the out column. So let's say, for example, we have 3 and 6. And then we have something like 49, or say 77, or perhaps 350. How would we figure that out? Well, if we are doing multiplication to go from the in to the out, what would we do to figure out what came in if we already know the out? Well, we're kind of going in reverse, right? So we need our turnaround fact. So if we're going in the other direction, going that way, right, we are dividing by 7. Okay, so I'm going to actually take that out because it's a little too close. I'm going to put that up there. So 3 times 7, yes, 21. 6 times 7, 42. But then we ask ourselves, what times 7 equals 49? Which is another way of saying 49 divided by 7. And yet, that's 7. 7 times 7 is 49. And 77 divided by 7 is 11. And then we can say, what divided by, or what times 7 equals 350? 350 divided by 7 is 50. Okay, so we can see how our number pattern applies here, right? Every number that's going in is multiplied by 7 to go out, right? So there might be some number tables where we don't actually have the rule. The rule is something that is a bit of a mystery. And let's say, for example, we have, we're sticking with one operation. I'm going to keep it simple, right? Let's just say, for example, we had something like 3 becomes 12. Would we be able to figure out the rule just from that alone? No, we wouldn't, because we need to have at least a couple, maybe even 3 examples to really see what the rule is. Because this could be 3 plus 9. It could also be 3 times 4. It could also be maybe a multi-step operation here. It could be plus 10 minus 1. So there's a lot of possibilities here. We don't know yet. So what if it was, say, for example, 5 and then 20? Would we be able to identify the rule now? Yeah, probably would. It is times 4, right? So, and if we had maybe a few more ones, let's say, for example, 16 and maybe 20 and perhaps um, 80. Wait a minute. I gave you the answer for that part. But we see how that was going to work, right? So when we get into our actual journal work, there is some similar types of rules that we might follow. Some where we have all the outs, we don't have any of the ins. We have some where it's mostly the ins going already, and we have to figure out the outs. We might have a mix, and we might have some where you get to make your own. All right, fun. The other sheet that you need to work on for this lesson is one that involves shape patterns. Now, these shape patterns are going to be a little tricky to draw. Try your best. You can possibly take screenshots of little parts here. I know I have a Mac, so it's a little different, but you remember the buttons to do, what is it, Control, Shift, and Show Window, and you could take a picture perhaps of a certain shape, right? Or perhaps use the shape tool. Basic rectangles are pretty easy to draw, and if you draw one like this, and then if you use the select annotation tool, you can highlight it, you can copy it, and then you can paste it. And yes, we can, right? So if it asks you to allow something, just click allow. So now I pasted this, and then I can draw or add another one there, and we'll just paste again. And we can build that way, right? I'm already starting to build an answer for you, and I wanted you to do that work. But that was just something that I wanted to show you really quick. Okay, so I am going to undo all of those so you can do it. And that's it. All right, so these are the 2 different activities that we're going to be doing with shape patterns. I'd like you to fill out the rest of this table here. We talked about a couple of them already, if you didn't already. I'd like you to work on page 63 and page 64. And we're going to go over it together, and we're going to begin our review with Unit 2 and using a Pear Deck. So we are at the end of the unit. Congratulations. We are moving quick, but we're doing a great job. So keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing you soon.